Hey guys, how you doing? So in this video, we're going to talk about my experience over the last 7 years since I started fasting. Bottom line, I think it's super worth it. Number one, I don't believe it's a coincidence that just about every major religion in the world, and I'm not a religious person, but every major religion in the world practices some sort of fasting. So to me, that tells me that humans have learned a long time ago that there is some benefit to fasting, no question. You remember in the old holy text, if you will, the old religious text, they'll say it's the word of God or something to that effect as to why you got to fast, right? That's what they did back then. They couldn't explain to the average peasant, 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago, hey, you got to fast because it's good for your health and it's good for your, no. They had to say it's the will of God. That's how they did things back then, right? So, fasting is clearly of benefit to anybody who gets into it. That's number one. So I started fasting years ago. Again, I was doing my research. I read what you probably read, the benefits of fasting, the health benefits, and so on. I also did to lose weight. Now, what I discovered in fasting is that which surprised me quite a bit, is that I was physiologically addicted to carbs. Let me say that again. I was physiologically addicted to carbs. We're talking pizza, sweets, French fries, potatoes, fruit juices, soda drinks, Pepsi, Coke, whatever. I was addicted to these things. And I know that because many years ago, when I first started trying to get off of those things, I would literally have cold turkey symptoms, the same symptoms that you would see described by drug addicts coming off of heroin or something. And I first recognized that because I remember it was many years ago. I decided I was going to start fasting. And I was cutting down carbs, and I was literally having cold turkey symptoms. I had just watched a movie, I think it's called Train Spotting, with Ewan McGregor. It's about all these drug addicts. And there's one scene where he's coming off of drugs, and he's in his bed, and he's freaking out. And I was having a mild version of that. And I remember listening to the John Lennon song, Cold Turkey, same thing. So next lesson. So first lesson, fasting is good for you. It will help you to lose weight big time. It will reset your physiology. Number two, the initial pain, if you will, the discomfort that you're going to get from fasting or just cutting down, going keto. They call it keto flu in the keto community. That pain, that keto flu, that the shakes, the nausea, the skin crawling, the foggy mind, the foggy brain, all that's just your brain detoxifying from the carb addiction. That's all it is. So, getting into fasting, beneficial, but you're probably going to hit these keto flu type of cold turkey type of withdrawal symptoms. And you're withdrawing from the spike, the shot you need, the hit of carbs. Could be sugars, could be pastries, could be cheeseburgers, not the meat, the bread, the carbs. The carbs cause this problem. Why do most humans, why are they physiologically and also psychologically addicted to carbs? Because our bodies are designed to crave carbs because in nature, throughout most of our evolutionary life cycle as a species, meaning going back hundreds of thousands of years and the precursors to modern humans, millions of years, carbs are very rare. Occasional honey, berries during season, right? For the most part, for most of humanity, carbs were very rare. We were mostly hunter-gatherers. So when we did hit carbs, which can be useful to the body in small quantities, we had problems. Now, do we need carbs? Most of us probably don't. There's one thing for sure. If you're overweight, if you're over the mid-teens in body fat percentage, especially if you're in the 20s, if you got a gut, you got a fat face, a double chin, you're overweight. And that's a strong indicator that you're eating way too many carbs. So my assertion is that we're eating too many carbs. Anyway, fasting is a way to reset the body. Now, people can go into all the technicalities of fasting, but essentially what happens is the body has a switch. You're either in the mode of repair and burn fuel that's on your body. That's your fat stores. That's why we store fat, to have fuel. Or the switch goes the other way, where we're eating, where the body save fuel, burn some of it, but save a lot of it for future famine. Remember, we come from a species where up until very recently, the last 2-3% of our evolutionary life cycle, if you will, for most of the 100,000s of years that modern humans have been around, only for the last 5,000 years or 10,000 years that we had consistent food, farming and so forth. We were hunter-gatherers. So it was feast or famine, feast or famine, feast or famine. Our bodies are literally designed to eat a lot and then go without food for a while. Could be days. And as long as we have water, we're fine. So next thing about fasting. So when you start fasting, if you are dependent on carbs, as most of us are, you're going to have these withdrawal symptoms. Now, again, I assume you talk to a doctor, you're healthy, blah, blah, you're listening to all this. I don't know your personal physical condition, but for me and for most people, when they feel the keto flu symptoms, as they call it, or the fasting symptoms initially, it's just your body getting off of the carbs. It's just your body doing cold turkey. These feelings you get these bouts in the first day or two that will last an hour, and then they go away, and then 3 hours later it comes back again. And it's just like these visceral impulsive urges. That's what will happen. This is, again, your body wanting that hit of carbs. So how do you handle this? Well, what I would suggest you do, I'm going to give you a direct thing. Let's say you wanted to start a fasting tonight, and let's say you wanted to do an 18-hour fast. What I would do is have your supper 6 o'clock, whatever, 7 o'clock, and skip breakfast. Have your next meal at like 12. That will give you, if you stop eating at 6, you skip breakfast and you eat your first meal at 12 noon the next day, that's 18-hour fast, pretty good. But even if you only do a 14-hour fast, you stop at 6, and then the next day you eat at 10, that's still good. It's a 16-hour fast. You get the idea, right? The idea is we want to give your body time to not eat. So after about 4 or 5 hours of not consuming food, the body's switch goes back. These are rough numbers. Everybody's different. And it switches to that offsetting, and it starts doing reparations on itself, repairing itself. And it will use fat as fuel. Now, if you start fasting after you've become what is called fat adapted or metabolically flexible, meaning where your body has been retrained to do what it does naturally, which is use body fat to fuel itself, and a little bit of carbs, you not feel hunger. Like, I can go without eating for a day, 2 days, and it doesn't bother me. You go, how could that be? Well, even though I'm fairly lean, I'm 6'2" at 193 pounds, 92 pounds, I fluctuate. And maybe 18% body fat, 19% body fat, 17%. I'm in that range. I don't know. I haven't done like a super precise scan, but I'm pretty much that. Even though I'm considered very lean, especially for my age, I have, with 18% body fat, we use that number, at 193 pounds, I got like 35 pounds approximately of body fat on me. I got plenty of fuel. That 35 pounds could fuel my body for weeks probably. It would be painful, but for weeks. So a 24-hour, no big deal. Anyway, so I don't have those cold turkey, train spotting, withdrawal symptoms anymore, because my body over the years has slowly become metabolically flexible, meaning it understands how to burn fat. That's why I've lost all kinds of fat. That's why I went from maybe 25% body fat down to 18. I talk about body fat much more than weight, because 195 pounds at 22% body fat is a very different body than it's a very different body at 193 pounds at 18% body fat. That spread of 7% is a huge difference in terms of how you look, how you feel, your overall metabolic health. It makes a huge difference. So yeah, I pay much more attention now to body fat percentage than I do to ultimate weight. All right, so if you want to get into fasting, if you want to do it in an easy way, what I would do is I would slowly transition over 3 weeks into a low carb diet. And you pulse it in. Pulsing is like in, out, in, out, in, out. In, out is good. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, like when I started out, when I was a hungry hippo, I would have a medium pizza, which is 8 slices, a fry, and a Coke. So I decided to start weaning myself off of that. So instead of having 8 slices in a night, I would have 7. Put the slice, you have a slice in the fridge, and forget about it until the next day. Instead of drinking the whole can of Coke, I would drink half the can. Instead of eating the whole fry, I would eat half the fry, throw the rest out, or save it to the next day. And then the following week, I'd get it down from 7 to 6, and then to 5, and then to 4. So what happens, you're gently reducing the amount of carbs that you're taking in. And this will get your body more and more open, if you will, for lack of better terms, more and more relaxed about not having all these carbs, moving into more of a keto, fat-adapted body. This is crucial because when you are more ketogenic, when you're in ketosis or somewhat in ketosis, when you are metabolically flexible, as they say, you can burn carbs and fat equally easily, then fasting is nothing. It's easy. It's trivial. So the pulsing technique suggests that you go in and out of a state. So let's say you start off, I'm going to go from 8 slices to 7 slices of pizza. I'm using that as an example because that's what I did, but you can figure out the principles that apply to your own situation. So I start off with, I go down to 7 slices of pizza, half a fry and half a Coke. And then the next time I have pizza, you know what, I go back up to 8 slices, but I still have the half fry and half Coke. And then the next time I go down to 6 slices of pizza, full fry, half Coke. You get the idea. I'm pulsing it in and out in terms of reducing my carbs. This is training the body and the primitive brain to not go into a panic about the lack of carbs. And over time, what I found that it slowly retrained my body. It became fat adapted. It became metabolically flexible. I've tried fasting when I wasn't metabolically flexible several times over the years, in the early stages, and it was rough. You get past it after like X amount of hours. Everybody's different. Some people, you might get past it in 4 hours. Some people might take 8 hours. You know, again, it's normal, assuming that your baseline health is fine. You're at no risk. It just doesn't feel comfortable, you know. But if you are metabolically adapted, what happens, you don't eat food, the body just goes to your built-in fridge, your fat stores. So even me at 18% approximately body fat, I still got a good, 30 pounds of fat on me, something like that. I got a lot of fat, you know. I am not exactly lacking of nutrients, you know what I mean? So I can go a long way. So when you do fast, if you preamble this, you go into it having become more metabolically flexible, as I described, become more keto adjacent, if you will, it will be a lot easier. So what fasting will do is it will repair tissue in your body, believe it or not. It will improve your mood, it will repair tissue in your body, it will make you feel much better. You come out of a fast, you feel very chill and relaxed. I felt that every time, and people who do fasting, it's very consistent. That's how they feel. So I'll tell you the most amazing thing that happened to me with fasting a few years back. So I had a bad knee. One of my knees, this knee here, it was very bad for many years because I had been in martial arts for nearly over 2 decades. Quite a high level, and I used to do a lot of kicking. So I had a very bad knee for like 10, 15 years where I'd wake up and it would be knee locked like this. I would have to pull it open and I would limp for the first 15 minutes. It was pretty bad. I found that collagen helped quite a bit, but it was just there, you know. And I was told I was going to have surgery, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So anyway, one day I did a 36-hour fast, not for my knee or anything, just for sake of fasting. And lo and behold, something called autophagy kicked in, me not knowing what it was, not me having heard about it, so it wasn't placebo. It was not expected. I wake up that morning for the first time in like 10, 15 years, my knee was like 90% okay. I couldn't believe it. What the hell's going on? So then I did some research, fasting, knee injury, fasting, tissue repair, and lo and behold, what I found, there's this process called autophagy, which is triggered by fasting, which could cause your body to repair damaged tissue. My knee. So a few days later, I did another 24-hour fast, and my knee got to be basically 100%. It's unbelievable. First time in like 10, 15 years. That's a hidden benefit of fasting. It can repair damaged tissue. So when you are fasting, start off, if you've never done it before, start off with 8 hours. Just don't eat it for 8 hours. And the next time, a week later, do a 14-hour. The next time, do an 18-hour fast. What you can do when you fast, no sugars, no sweets, no juice, nothing. Just water, black coffee. Now, you could use something called, I think it's MCP oil, that could help as well with that. But just pulse it, and coffee can help suppress appetite. But again, this appetite stuff and so on, this is much more about whether or not you're metabolically flexible. If you're metabolically flexible, as I described, you won't get hungry because your body would just go to its built-in stores right here, right? And that's what happens to me. As I said, I eat more or less now. A lot of it is habitual, or meeting friends for brunch or lunch or something. But I can go without food for a while. Again, because I got a good whatever it is, 18% on 193. 18% of that 193 pounds I'm walking around with is body fat. So like 35 pounds of body fat. And I think you can eat. I think for me, I consume about 3,500 calories a day. Not even, 2,500 calories a day. So I have a lot of body fat for many, many days. Anyway, I'm not advocating that you do many day fasts. That's very tricky. But I would start off slowly. As I said, I would first become more metabolically flexible by doing the pulsing techniques, introducing less pulling carbs from your body, from your diet, and introducing much more meat and vegetables, especially meat. And you'll find that red meat is the most nutrient-dense food in the world. I'm a big fan of it. I feel fantastic when I just eat red meat. Yeah, drink lots of water. Use coffee to suppress appetite. Easiest, fastest to after supper. Just don't eat anything more. No snacking, nothing. Just skip breakfast. Because you fall asleep. You get a lot of hours of fasting right in there. That's why they call break fast, right? Breakfast. Break fast. So there you go. I hope that helps. So what I've learned over 7 years of fasting, A, it works well. B, if you're metabolically flexible, it's super easy. C, you can see fasting could actually cure you of long-term problems. That's why, again, I think that's why all the ancient religious text of many different Eastern and Western religions, they all have some sort of fasting that they built in. They've realized a long time ago if it's actually beneficial to the health. And there you go. It will also help you if you start getting into a regular fasting routine. Also, you're going to lose weight. Drink a lot of water as you fast as well. You're going to start losing weight. Everything will improve. Your libido will start to shoot up as you reduce your body fat percentage, where fasting can help a lot there. Your energies will speed up. Brain fog will reduce quite a bit. It's really astounding. At the end of the day, I think that us in the West especially, we just eat too many carbs and we eat too much food. That's why we're all overweight. All right. I hope you found this video useful. If you disagree with anything I talk about in this video, put in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want more about this subject and all these other things I've been talking about with regards to health and nutrition, exercise, and so forth, and mind. Everything, by the way, I was about to say mind control, your own mind to control. Everything, by the way, I talk about is based on personal experience, verified many, many, many times. And at the end of the day, all this stuff, whether you're fasting, keto diet, getting in shape, etc., the foundation of this is retraining your primitive brain, your lizard brain, so that your impulses, your visceral self, your emotional self pull you easily, without effort, into proper habits that will just help you to do all this stuff without any effort. Cheers.